A challenge I hear from a lot of the conversations I have with my friends is the difficulty with which adults face cultivating and maintaining relationships. Not only romantic relationships, but platonic relationships as well, especially friendships. Platonic friendships, be it between male and male, female and male, female and female, it gets really tough because people grow older and then their personalities concretize and you can't quite change them and it's difficult. It is a little wonder that most people just cultivate a friendship between themselves and their wives, maybe, or their partners, and then maybe their families, and they shoo other relationships to the side. Would you say your friendships are happy and healthy? Do you have good friends? It's very rare these days to have very solid friends. I like reggae. There is an artist called Joseph Hill. He passed on. He sang a song, one of his ballads, something. How did that song used to go? It's better to have a friend than to need one. He's the one who sang, "Why you worry about them when you can't pray them off?" You know those songs? And there's a proverb I equally like. He who has a friend must show himself friendly. So what happens then if you're trying to show yourself friendly to your friend and you feel like it's really one-sided? The weight is so much heavy on your end. I mean, you are really trying, but you feel it's becoming strenuous. You've tried and tried and tried and tried. You reach out, it's not reciprocated. What do? I want us to have a quick chat about dealing with one-sided friendships. Do you have one of such friends, or are you in such a relationship? Good evening, my name is Eric, and this is Eric Stories. Please share your mind with me. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and my DMs are open on both. And I'm also on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Dealing with one-sided friendships. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was just bemoaning one friendship, at least two, people he used to know really well, who went to college together. And he was sharing in exasperation how both these friends of his, got babies, and one only announced about his having gotten a baby 7 months after the baby was born. Another one was also so quiet about it. He only shared 4 months in. And so what he was telling me, which was really boring him, was that these guys are very quick to call when something is off. Say if a parent dies, they call him fast. If they're fighting with their spouses, they call him. But he was recording that when things are seemingly going all right, they never bother to tell him, and he was feeling hurt. And I was telling him, in retort, that I understand his frustrations because I've suffered similar feats with pockets of my relationships. And so what gives, man? What do you do when you have people you thought are really your intimates, but then they decide to behave some type of way? Do you just cut them off? All right? What do you do? Share with me. So some signs that your friendships is one-sided before we get to how to deal with it. You demonstrate an interest in their well-being, but they show little interest in you or your needs. People are like that. You reach out, you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" A friend of mine was telling me how he texted this guy. He saw that his wife had, gotten a promotion. And say, "Hey, congratulations, pass my love and appreciation to mama," and yada yada. And the guy never responded to that text, maybe well into 2 weeks. And he was just like, "What's that about?" I mean, and he thought they were cool, So you demonstrate an interest in their lives. They never, ever, ever, ever reciprocate such. First sign in my books. They pry and prod about things happening in your life, but remain secretive about theirs. People are like that. People can call you at 6 a.m. to ask what's cutting because they've seen something in the papers about you. Like, "Hey, hi, so I saw today in the papers. So did you apply or did they just approach you? Wow, what's that about? Where are they based?" So they really are keen on your business, but never, ever sharing anything with you. Never, ever. And if your phone is off, they'll text and send an email. They want to know. They want to know. They want to know. Them, they remain mum. Everything is all about them, their needs and their interests. Again, I'm sure you've met somebody like that. I mean, you're reaching out They're like, hey, how are you? How is it going? They're like, it's good, you know. So we did A and B and Z and X, Y, and Z. And you're waiting for that turn of, and how are you? Never ever coming. They'll never ask you about you. It's about them. Them, and them alone. It's another sign. They don't open up, ever. They never open up. They don't open up to you about anything. They deflect questions about their personal lives and avoid sharing anything beyond superficial details about themselves. You know somebody like that? You know someone like that? So these, in my books, are signs that your relationship is one-sided. All right? And you know why I'm sharing? Because relating to somebody who's difficult, it's so difficult rather, when you don't have a clear sense of who they are. You don't quite know. I mean, you know them, but you feel like as you're going on and on, the relationship gets more and more superficial. And you're reaching out and trying to really, so they share very peripheral things, very sketchy details of their lives. And you're like, do you want this thing or not, man? What's going on? All right? Strong friendships, in my mind, are based on mutual support, and they take a lot of work, and they take a lot of communication. So here you are, you're reaching out, you're showing interest, you're getting piecemeals and breadcrumbs in return. What do you do? What do you do? Is it worth keeping that friendship? What do you do? It's very difficult. I'll be honest with you. It's very difficult. I used to know some people and we used to be great friends, or so I thought. And then, life just happens. Maybe you've not even fallen out, you haven't fought, but they're just consistently inconsistent. And you're just like, what? Okay, I've tried and I'm tired, and cheers. I don't need to bother anymore. I feel like I'm imposing. So then, what are some of the solutions to handling or dealing with one-sided friendships? I was thinking about some of my past relationships, those that started, first of all, it's quite cold turkey in terms of communication. People go cold turkey and then they start dying and then they die. And I saw a pattern. So I wrote a few things that I think somebody can do, but I'm also looking forward to hear what you have to say about how you deal with such situations. So I think the first thing in terms of solutions, when you feel like you've done your best and nothing seems to work, make your intentions clear. I mean, you want to communicate to them that you're not going to be holding the friendship alone. You won't be holding the friendship alone. You need for them to be participatory. And if they're going through a phase or something is happening in their lives that they're not particularly happy to share, you are happy to, just back away. And when they're ready, you continue, because you don't want to impose, right? It's frustrating. So you're communicating, going on, impressing on them, checking on them. It never gets back to you. So after you make your intentions clear, then stop reaching out. Yeah? You don't want to force issues. Second thing, stop reaching out. Just like, when you're ready with whatever you're going through, I'll always be here. We can always sit. We can always talk. But at this juncture, I'm happy to let you deal with whatever it is you're dealing with. So stop reaching out. Third thing, which I think is important, try and invest in friends who celebrate you more than those who tolerate you. Life is short and then you die. And sometimes, as an adult, you just realize that people grow into different things and into different spaces, and they want other things. And you can't force issues. So then what do? Choose you. And obviously they've chosen themselves. So choose you. I think it's very important. Yeah? Friends are amazing, but not if they don't want to be. So there's no need to choke and pester and reach out. You're kind and gentle and loving, and I rarely even acknowledgement. They don't acknowledge it. Yeah? So those are some of the challenges I continue to face, and I guess a lot of my peers, about friendships. Secretive people and dodgy behavior sometimes. And because you can never change them, you only have control over you, then you can manage your expectations. What do you think? How would you deal with one-sided friendships? Good evening.